as a surgeon, has it actually happened? You've got someone on the table doing surgery and the power goes out.
Oh yeah, there are cases like
So-
that. Well, you don't panic. You train for that. So
In Nigeria.
when you are almost done with the surgery, you're trying to close up, and then it goes up and goes off. And of course, you just everybody with a touchlight and phone, and making sure that,
Touchlights.
yeah, from the phones and stuff.
Picture this. There's an ongoing surgery in an operating ward. The doctor asks for a scalpel and the power goes out. In a couple weeks, there'll be a report that X region had X downtime, X band for X hours. A stat in that report, but to everyone in the hospital, it's not a statistic. It's a real person, a real life problem. Every guest on this show has talked about energy, megawatts, tariffs, bands, finance, all sorts of jargon that most people do not understand. Dr. George Ebong doesn't work in energy at all. He runs hospitals in the same city where all these power conversations happen. In 2025, his doctors went on strike, not for pay, but because generators that would not start, sterilizers that wouldn't run, and MRI machines that sat offline because nobody could guarantee stable power and, more importantly, stable voltage. This episode is about what happens after power failure, when it walks into a hospital and becomes someone's emergency. Welcome to Connecting the Dots. Thank you and welcome to another episode of Connecting the Dots. Dr. George, it's good to have you.
Thank you. Thank
the
you
studio.
for inviting. Thank you.
Connecting the Dots has always really spoken to energy professionals, directors, MDs, people who are really involved in the power sector value chain. And this is our first foray into speaking to industry practitioners that are not in the value chain that power affects on a day-to-day basis. So I'm really glad that we're having this conversation, given your role as a practitioner, as a surgeon, but also as a leader of an association. Can you tell the audience a little bit more about your role and what you do in the medical field?
Thank you so much. Yes, my name is Judge Ebong, and then I currently am the president of the Association of the Resident Doctors, FCTA. What I do is to be the spokesperson for the resident doctors, and of course to make sure that the welfare of doctors are highly prioritized. So making sure that we have what we need to give the best to our patients, in terms of healthcare. So that's what I do, representing the interest of doctors in FCTA. I work at Worcester District Hospital, Department of Surgery. And of course, we have influx of patients around, and we try to do the best we can with what we have to give the best to our patients.
When people see you, they look at you as the face and the mouthpiece for doctors, benefits, their rights, and what they should get. And recently, there's been a strike with doctors. Walk us through that journey and what are doctors actually asking for?
Oh yeah, so we had last year actually we had numerous strikes within the FCTA. It was basically on the welfare of doctors and the state of the hospitals in FCTA.
What about sick people? If you go on strike, sick people?
Yeah, we try to do the best we can to transition them to other hospitals.
Okay.
Yeah, we just try to make sure that, because these sick people, we know them, we're close to them.
Of course.
Yeah, we go to the same churches, we go to the same mosque, we go to the same market, so they are friends. But sometimes I think what we try to do is not to do any harm to our patients. So if we think that we can't give them the services they need, then we try not to even touch them at all. If we don't have the basic medical equipment to take care of our patient, we rather not touch them at all. So I think that is what we have tried to do, and also to make sure that we have enough hands. So we don't have doctors, one doctor having to see a lot of patients and going through fatigue, etc., become even harmful to the patient. So that has led to those strikes. I mean, also lack of proper payment or owing doctors for months, etc.
Wait, so you're owed by the government?
Oh yes, that happened last year.
Okay.
Oh, we still have some to fix. But the thing is, the FCT minister, actually last year did a lot of good by making sure that those arrears, he fixed them. I mean, these were things that he inherited. Okay, but then when we had those agitations, he came through. The mandate secretary, the head of service. So these are the people that we really appreciate. But of course, there are still some very basic things we need to do, and we're still dialoguing with them. And we hope that they will listen to us and we get it sorted out.
How do you manage the public perception of doctors not being available to patients?
Oh yeah, before, when doctors will go on strike, they would just pack up their bags and leave the hospitals and go home. But the last ones we've had, what we did was to make sure that we engaged the media. We created awareness, okay? And we gave ultimatum before the strike occurred. And while the strike was on, we had engagement with the management. So the patients knew. We told them what to do. We told them where to go to if there were emergencies. So the perception wasn't even negative per se, because we preempted them, and for them to know what they were going to expect, we have that rapport with them.
Interesting. Because stat that I researched for this episode is around the patient to doctor ratio in Nigeria is quite low compared to other countries that are kind of similar to us. Is it just because of the general Japa syndrome, or is it just because of how the country is currently situated?
Yeah, so I think the population of Nigeria is exploding. Let me use that word. And the population of Abuja is also exploding as well. So normally the United Nations standard should be around a doctor to like maybe 100 and something, 200, if I can get the figure right now. But in Nigeria, like we have like a doctor to like probably like 8,000, 9,000.
Yeah, it's about 8,000.
Absolutely. So and then if you have like 250 million Nigerians approximately, and then you have about 40,000 doctors in the whole of the country.
40,000.
Yeah, 40,000 plus. Not every one of them is practicing clinically. And so you see how do you, I mean, do the math. So how does a doctor cope? And that's why we've got those issues we have. Okay, and we are thinking that to practice effective medicine, you can't put doctors through that mental stress. All right, and that's why sometimes after so much of dialoguing with the government, and it comes to a time when they wouldn't listen, that we don't have a choice than to shut up the system. But this year, we've made so much of gains. We've had interaction with them. The dialogue had made more sense. They listen. They're also trying their best, and we also understand them from our end. So it's been fruitful, but more still needs. I mean, we still need to do more. They need to do more, actually. We are fine on our own.
It can always get better.
Oh, sure. I mean, healthcare shouldn't be managed. It should be standard.
Of course.
Because it's life we're talking about. We're not talking about somebody going to buy some tomatoes and coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, historically, some of the things you've shared in the media is you describe FCTA hospitals as a shadow. What was that famous phrase?
So I don't know which of the interviews I said that, but I think yeah,
Shadows of decay
yeah,
is
absolutely,
around what it was. And
yeah, something
what,
around that.
what are the 3 or 4 drivers, or what are the 3 or 4 things you lack? And how does a lack of energy, where does that fit into the conversation?
Yeah, so I'm sure I had a lot of interviews last year,
You did.
and of course, we had to highlight the issues we're facing in our hospitals and lack of sufficient manpower, and then electricity is a problem too. So we've got cases where you're seeing a patient and there's no light, so you put in the information, you get information, and then there's no light.
So as a surgeon, has it actually happened? You've got someone on the table doing surgery and the power goes out.
Oh yeah, there are cases like that.
So walk us through that. What happens next
Well, you don't panic. You train for that. So
in Nigeria?
well, you don't panic when you're doing things like that, and then it goes off. The ones that we've experienced is probably when you are almost done with the surgery, you're trying to close up, and then it goes up and goes off, and of course you just see everybody with a touchlight and phone, and making sure that,
Touchlights.
yeah, from the phones and stuff.
Why?
So
But why don't we have backup power in a theater? That should be part and parcel of to ensure the hospital actually functions.
absolutely. So now, when those things kept happening, then we had the management, they made sure, the mandate secretary actually made sure that those theaters have solar connected to them, so you don't see those things happening. But still, it's still not as sufficient as having electricity working properly.
Of course.
Yeah, because those batteries too don't last. Somehow they just go off as well.
And I think it's also the Abuja and Lagos syndrome, where we think everything kind of works like this in a theater with backup power. But if you go out to Anambra, if you go out to Ebong, if you go out to Sokoto, you probably don't have these backup technology in place. So if power goes out during surgery, flashlights are brought out and people have to now, figure out what to do next. So I think it's a matter of this should be a holistic approach rather than just quite focused on these very urbanized hospitals.
Yeah, I think, well, I want to believe that the Nigerian system has not done so well on the healthcare system. I feel we've got very good doctors in Nigeria, and what they need is just a good support system so that doctors can stay back and do their jobs. Because what makes doctors to leave the country is a very, very poor remuneration. Very, very poor.
Why is that? Is it okay? So I guess a bit of my background. I finished undergrad, worked in insurance and risk management for about 8 or 9 years in the US. So I understand that the insurance market in developed countries is what props up the healthcare industries, because you're able to, you pay into a premium that helps doctors. But in Nigeria, HMOs are around, but they're not as popular. Is that are we lacking proper payments for healthcare workers because we haven't quite figured out a way to finance it?
So I think that we still haven't gotten the proper way of managing healthcare in Nigeria, or the government. So we are part of the government now, or we don't have the intention of fixing it. So I really believe we don't have the intention of fixing it, because look at the budget that is given for healthcare. Is nothing to write home about. Nothing. So if you give such a mega amount of money for healthcare, that means you're not even ready to fix it. Okay, and then we don't even have, the government hospitals don't have enough hands, and we don't have enough medical facilities, equipment, and the people that are that have decided to stay back to work, they don't want to pay them. The things that they need to survive as doctors are not given to them. So by the time you put all of this together, you can't produce a good healthcare system, nope, in Nigeria. And that is why most Nigerian doctors will rather want to leave the country and practice outside the country. But it's not like they really even love it out there.
No, because clearly, I know a handful of doctors who are doing very well abroad.
Financially.
But they're like,
but they're missing home.
I would want to be back in Nigeria.
Yeah, because Nigeria is sweet, quote unquote. So Nigeria is sweet. But then what is very important for everyone is the fact that you have enough finances to take care of your needs. So if you don't have it, it's going to be difficult for such a person to practice medicine properly. And then it leads to doctors not having that passion to practice the profession. So you can't be a good doctor without the passion.
Yeah, no.
And what gives the passion is the welfare, it's the money, it's the fact that you know that the system will take care of you if you literally work for the system with everything you've got. But if you are working for the system with everything you've got, and then the government owes you, they don't want to pay you, they don't want to promote you, you know, they make, your working environment is not decent. Once you see your patient, light goes off and on, those are the things that will make you to feel like what's happening. And you've got offers out there. They're going to pay you more. They give you housing loan. They give you car loan. They tell you can bring your kids and they can go to school for free. Who wouldn't go for such offers?
So what's the value proposition for a doctor to stay in Nigeria?
For me, I think if the government is really ready to keep doctors in Nigeria, not to go anywhere in terms of the financial value, the least a doctor should earn, the least doctor should be at about 2 million, 2.5 million.
Okay.
Yeah, which is even still very little. It's just like $1,000, 800, thereabouts. So, and they're not gonna go because what are they going out there to do? Because you're actually paying them. I heard those stories. In the 80s, Nigerians never left Nigeria to the UK or to the US because they were earning better here than Nigerians were earning there. So why did they have to leave? When our currency was like a naira to a dollar, when our currency was like a naira to a pound sterling, so why should you leave? But now when you have a dollar and then you change it to like 1,400 naira, that is why you're leaving. And that's what happened. So you see a Nigerian doctor that works in Nigeria government hospital, he can't even get a car. He can't even change his car. He can't even get his kids to a good school. And then you see your mates that left outside, that left the shore of the country to another country, and he can have access to good school for his children. He can buy a land to build his house. He can even send you some money. When you say you're broke, can send like 200 pounds. So you ask yourself, then what are you doing here? So that's the problem. So if the payment is right and the working condition is conducive, Nigerians won't leave this country. We're going to stay here and fix the healthcare system. And then we have the private sectors. And these ones are even very, these are people that are putting their sweat and their money into the healthcare system so that it works better. So they feel that gap that the government hospitals cannot afford. But then you kill them with taxes. Okay? They pay up to 11 different kind of taxes. I heard. They don't have electricity too. That's energy now. They spend a lot of millions of naira to buy diesel, or they have to put solar panels on the roof of the hospital. So all those things are difficult. And who pays so much for those things? The patients. Because if I'm going to run like 40 million naira a month for diesel, you're going to be the one to pay. If you come to see me, instead of to charge you, let's say like 2,000 naira for consultation fee, I'm going to mark it up to like 20,000 naira because you have to pay for the diesel I'm going to use to see you. So I think that's the problem we face as well in the medical sector in Nigeria.
Looking at what doctors should earn is a very nuanced conversation. There's a lot of different angles to it. I go back to just running a facility that's profitable and that provides quality care, takes care of patients, and everyone has satisfaction when they come to work. And when I look at that, I now say without energy, it's almost impossible, because if I walk through a very, well, in my mind, a very logical path, energy produces more. If a hospital has more energy, it produces more profits for the hospital.
That's correct.
And that allows the hospital to provide better care for their staff.
That's absolutely
And
correct.
once you do that, patients get more better care.
Yeah,
And it's just a loop that keeps going and keeps reinforcing itself.
I agree with you.
Why hasn't the government seen that? I'm not that smart.
Why? Because they don't use the healthcare facilities in Nigeria. You can't fix what you don't use.
Interesting. So really, that's the driver.
You can't fix. I mean, you have a car. You fix it because you drive it.
Of course.
If you don't drive it, you're not going to fix it. Because you don't need it. Because it's faulty and you're not going to fix it. So I've never still seen a government official that goes to a government hospital. When you go there, you see what the doctors are going through. You see what the nurses are going through. You see what the patients are going through. You see the queue. If you come to Wuse Hospital, 5:30, patients are already there waiting to see a doctor that will come by 8 o'clock.
My goodness. By 8 o'clock, they're waiting.
They're there by 5:30. Yeah. Yeah. But because it's even affordable for them, and it's just one doctor or two that does a call. In fact, yesterday I had a patient of mine that was on call that collapsed. The husband and the daughter had to come over. She actually collapsed while walking.
A doctor?
Oh, yes. And she was put on oxygen. She was the only one that was covering the internal medicine department. No house officer, no other person to help her, no nothing. This is a mother of 2 or 3 children. The husband even met me this afternoon. I'm like, it was like, what are you guys going to do? This is not even making sense anymore. So imagine if she was alone when she collapsed, because the other colleague that saw her accidentally saw her when she was collapsing. So she could have just collapsed in the call room all alone. We had a case like that happened in Port Harcourt. The young doctor just went to the call room and collapsed and never made it, and didn't wake up or whatever happened.
These are real examples. It's not like
no, I mean, it's happened. Just check it out.
Wow.
So that's the problem. But like I said, the government officials don't use the healthcare system, so it is nothing to them. They have access to good doctors in highbrow private hospitals, and the next thing they jet out of the country and they're fine. So what about you and I that don't have the access to jet out of the country? What happens?
So it's it's the conversation of the funnel of bringing more doctors into the practice, right?
I don't even know why doctors should be looking for jobs. I think it's just absolutely beyond diabolical that doctors will be begging for jobs. We don't have enough doctors.
That's what I'm saying. So why
Doctors are retiring. Doctors are dying in service, and we don't have enough hands, and you're not even employing. Like, the healthcare system in Nigeria should have been declared a state of emergency. You don't go through those procedures to employ doctors. You just employ them so that we don't have that gap.
So you're saying that there are doctors now who are looking for work in this Nigeria?
In Abuja. A lot of, I can give you all the CVs, they are there. There are more than 1,000. Yes, looking for jobs. Some are just employed as locum staff. They're not even pensionable. They are paid peanuts. And they work their ass off all the time. And they've not even made them pensionable employees. So that means they can just tell you to leave whenever they feel like they don't need your service anymore. So
But
whatever
this-
you did before then, your services is not even recognized at all because you're not pensionable.
This sounds like a conversation that FCT minister should be trying to solve, because if you imagine created 100 vacancies and gave these people jobs, you could improve lives of the doctors that are there and then citizens as well. Why this is this not common sense? I'm very perplexed that the doctors who don't have work.
There are doctors who are looking for even internships to do. 1 year, 2 years, have not gotten a placement for internship in
That's
Abuja,
criminal.
in Nigeria.
That's absolutely
And that's what happens. So the country needs to know that there's nothing exceptional anymore by being a medical doctor. It was in those days, once you were a doctor, people like really see you like, oh, those guys are doctors. But look now, like, because you're really going to be begging someone to even give you internship to employ you. And I have a lot of them. We need to beg sometimes. We need to go on strike sometimes for them to even say they're going to employ. And when they even employ, if you have like 20 vacancies, they try to employ like 5, like they've done you so much favor. So it's kind of very weird. And it's because, like I said, the powers that be don't use the healthcare system that they should fund properly. It's just like our education, government institution. Then look at the private institution, then look at the difference. It's so glaring for you to see. So for me, I would have proposed that every government official in this country must use government hospital.
That's common.
That should be a law, actually. But would they want to do that?
And their kids must go to.
I would love that. They must go to Buhari Girls Secondary School, Wuse Zone 2 Primary School. That was what happened in the past. And that is how you will see the son of a plumber, for example, going to school with the son of the military administrator of that state.
Definitely.
Because they will go to like federal government girls' school. Everybody was good then. But now it's different. So if we have those people come to use the hospitals,
They'll see whatever.
they will see the
passing
different, yeah, they will see, they will know that they don't have oxygen. They will know that they don't have enough hands. They will know that, the solar panels are not working properly. They will know that the examination couch is not strong enough to hold them when they lie down there. But when they have access to good doctors, expensive private hospitals, so they don't know what others are going through.
And when I look at the government hospitals and look at what the power situation is like in the country, it's clear that hospitals don't have power.
No, we don't.
Has government ever asked what does this actually cost to run this hospital with a diesel generator? And why hasn't the conversation been had? Oh, we're at the center of the equator. If we switch to solar and actually did proper battery bank, we can actually be sustainable. So we're not running a monthly cost on diesel.
Yeah, because it doesn't bother them.
But there's money that comes out every month to pay for diesel. Someone pays for it.
It still doesn't bother them. Yeah, somebody pays for it, but then someone pays for it and then it's not efficient enough. That's why you can have electricity power today, you don't have it tomorrow. You can have it in the morning, at night is all that. I went to one of the hospitals this evening before I came here at about past 4. It was just all dark. There was no electricity. Dark, like dark. In Abuja here.
How can you provide services if It's dark.
How do you even have the will to provide the service? I'm not going to see you as I will not refer to another place.
Loss of revenue, putting human life at risk are the things that come up if I show up and something's wrong, but you say, I can't treat you, so go to somewhere else.
Absolutely.
That now introduces more issues that the patient now has to deal with. When healthcare, in my mind and globally, is a human right. So the government is doing all Nigerians a disservice.
I agree with you. And I think I said it in one of my interviews last year that healthcare in Nigeria should be declared instead of emergency. Probably that will make them to want to do more. I think that the government thinks that they are doing us a favor when they give you a hospital, when they build something, or when they employ some few hands. Like, they act like they're doing us a favor, but it's your job to do it. We're still gonna thank you for it, but it's a job to do it. Just like if your dad paid your school fees, it's his responsibility. We're still gonna tell him, thank you, Dad, for paying my school fees. That's it. But here, when it comes to healthcare system, there is this caste system within the healthcare now, okay, where the wealthy ones have where they go to for healthcare, and the rest of the population have where they could go to for healthcare. And I didn't think it should be like that. Healthcare should be affordable to everyone, and the government hospital should be more equipped so that people can go there and get the best of the healthcare. Only the government can make that happen, and the health intentional. It's also the make it happen.
Hasn't the administrator gone through and said, government, we're losing X, Y, and Z because we don't have power. Let's switch to a more reliable source of energy to power this place.
So the government, they've got their priorities. Healthcare is not one of them.
But it should be, right? Because if you think through medical tourism, 25 years ago, people used to come to Nigeria for health, for healthcare, medical tourism,
That's
for
correct.
surgeries. But now,
especially UCH about that,
they're going to India.
I read, or I was told that we had one time the king of Saudi. He came to Nigeria, was treated at Ibadan there. I also read or heard that there was a time the king of Jordan came to Nigeria. And that was how good we were then. But now we're the ones going there.
And you are spending millions of naira, probably tens of millions of naira, that could be spent here and domiciled here to be able to improve the healthcare facility. Doctors are paid better, X, Y, and Z. It just doesn't quite add up to me why we're still here. And my premise is, if we fix the energy crisis, hospitals could work better.
That's correct.
Why is I've asked this question?
No. Let me also say this: if you fix the energy, if you fix the energy, right? Even the equipment in the hospitals won't break down. Do you know what breaks them down? Absolutely.
Sorry for the audience. That means
power surge,
up and down.
Yeah. And so you just buy an equipment that is what, millions. The next 3 months they tell you, there was this, we have, I will say it in our pidgin English, just went up and went down, and that's it, it's gone. And to get that thing fixed is going to cost you another thousands of, maybe millions of naira. So nobody cares. They don't just fix it anymore. Then they get some batteries for them that you and I know is not going to last. So they don't last. And those machines, like one of them should last you like maybe 20 years, because the ones we actually go to buy from China, from the US, from Germany, they've used them for years too, and they're still functional. And they come to Nigeria and in 6 months it's gone. So that is the problem. So I totally agree with you that if they can fix the energy crisis, then we have solved like half of our problems. Look, if Nigeria can fix the energy crisis, the whole of this country will fix half of our problems. And why can't we even like convert everything to solar energy? Like you said the other time, why can't we do that?
That's the point. The generation source is free. You don't have buy tier 1 and tier 1 batteries and panels. What else do you need?
I don't even want to be sarcastic, but the other time we read or we saw that Aso Rock has a lot of solar panels everywhere. Do you know how many hospitals that can help? Let's talk about it. How many hospitals that can help? All the solar panels there, distribute them to Nigerian hospitals, have constant electricity, employ more hands, get them good salaries. Nobody will leave this country. Nobody will leave this country. But it doesn't work that way. No. So we have hospitals telling you that we can't buy diesel. They can't afford diesel. So they ration that diesel. What happens in a hospital sometimes is once there's no NEPA lights, that's what we call it, NEPA light, right? And then they tell you we're going to on the gen from this time to this time. Or they don't even on the gen. They only on the gen when there is a surgery that's going to happen. Okay? Then you tell them, they put on the gen, and then you do your surgery. Even before you are done, they put it off until maybe another surgery that's going to happen. So, and they tell you have to manage the situation. Things are expensive. You cannot even be motivated to work that way. It doesn't work that way. So those are the things we'll go through. So electricity, energy, that I mean, like you said the other time, is almost like the number one thing that we need to fix in our hospitals.
And I think, yes, I am the premise I just disclosed is accurate as what you just said. But there are obviously more issues, right? Once you fix energy, you not have salaries, you not have infrastructure, you not have a number of things.
Those shouldn't have been issues. We really don't even know why they're issues. Why do you want to pay people that are working? Like that is still one thing that looks so mysterious to me. There are two things that are mysterious
for decades, so it's not like it started last week. Doctors,
that's why it's mysterious. Not just doctors, teachers, lawyers, bankers. I mean, nobody gets paid all the time, or nobody gets paid on time. So why must I?
You're referencing government employees, right? Okay.
Why must I beg to get paid when I'm working for?
It's statutory. It should be.
I shouldn't even know how you pay me. I should just be paid because I'm working. That's the motivation. But then if I work and I don't get paid, I have to fight to get paid. That becomes the problem. It's a disservice to the doctor and to the patient as well.
So it sounds in the conversations we've had that if you're able to fix the energy crisis, a number of these other things will start to kind of fall off, and you're now able to run a profitable or at least a break-even business on the government side and then a profitable venture on the private side. But energy still seems like it's one of the things that we must address.
That's very correct. Because if you fix that energy crisis and you fix it properly, then why should a private hospital spend like 40, 50 million naira a month to buy diesel? That can go into getting more hands.
Of course.
Getting more doctors, getting more nurses, getting more pharmacists, getting more lab scientists, more physiotherapists, okay? More drivers, more cleaners. Everything that makes a hospital to work properly.
But you're spending that on buying diesel.
Absolutely. So how do you not make the profits? Because whatever money you make, you put every one of that money you make into buying more diesel. So how do you not even make the profit?
People in governments always had the attitude that it's not their business, it's the government's business. But in this regard, healthcare is a different conversation because you're now have that patient to care, patient to physician relationship, and you're not able to see people, they were sick and now they're much better. So if we're able to address some of these challenges that we have, I think more people would stay here than traveling abroad to take care of themselves. And then more doctors would stay in the government system rather than seeking the private facility. So isn't that something government should already see? And what you say is mysterious. And you say they don't know because they don't use it. How can we get government to really see these things? Because when 2013 we were 200 million people, now we're 240. In the next 20 years, we're going to be 250 million.
Yeah.
And without adequate healthcare, that our life expectancy will keep declining.
Without electricity too, it keeps declining. It keeps declining. So I will think that if the government, the people in power, really want to fix the healthcare system, they can do it. They can do it. I mean, the present FCT minister just got to Abuja many years ago, and look at the things he's done without roads. I mean, it's because he wants to fix it, and that's one minister. So if you have the government say we want to fix healthcare system in Nigeria, I believe they can fix it, but I feel they have better alternatives, so they don't think it's any problem for them.
The government hospitals now, how many of them actually have solar as a backup?
I think I can't really say how many, but I know that the ones I've visited recently, the medical directors where we work, they try as much as possible. The mandate secretary has tried as much as possible to provide solar panels to the hospitals. Yeah, at least it helps. And then they have this energy bulbs that can like light up the environment when there's no electricity. So I mean, you can see who you're talking to. You can know your patient is human or a ghost or something. So at least we have that working for us. But we can always do better. If we have constant electricity, we can do better.
If you obviously talk to the government all the time, but if you had one thing you wanted to share with them directly, what would it be?
Fix the healthcare system, because anybody can be a victim anytime.
COVID showed that to us very clearly.
Yes. Anybody. Look, you even need to be stable enough for anyone to accept that you can be flown out of the country. So your local hospital needs to stabilize you before you can be airborne out of this country. Okay? So fixing the healthcare system should be a priority, and there should be a blueprint. All right? Like the government should have a blueprint that in the next 5 years, we should have achieved this. Next 10 years, we should have achieved this. Next 15, we should have achieved this in the healthcare system. And you begin to build it gradually. And when you check another 20 years, everything is working properly. It's only in Nigeria that I still don't understand why we don't have paramedics. It's only in Nigeria.
We don't have what?
Paramedics. A functional one. It's only in Nigeria.
Absolutely amazing.
You absolutely mysterious.
What would it take to set that up?
We need to study, because I still don't understand how somebody will collapse here, for example. I can't call an ambulance. So we have to carry the person, start shouting, rush the person to the car. And those are even the things, those movements are the things that even kill the patient faster. Because we are not even trained to know how to carry a traumatic patient. We're not even trained to know how to lift a traumatic patient. We're not even trained to know how to drive a traumatic patient when you're driving your car. I mean, you have to lie down, you have to stay still. That's why you have all those stretchers and the ambulances. Once they carry, I mean, in those, you lived on the US side, you see what they do. They have the paramedics is there, set the line for you, check your breathing properly. They do your CPR. I mean, they still lose patient, but they're doing something. But here, someone just puts you. I've been to a state before where I saw them rush a patient that was bleeding on a wheelbarrow. Years back in Nigeria. In India, sorry to cut it short. In India, I think I saw a video of someone or a local government official, I think someone in India, that had to devise this bike, kind of an ambulance, a bike, and then beside it, a stretcher. Okay, we can always improvise something. And it's going to be easier to transport a patient. And there must be some form of communication. Why should, I don't want to even talk about this, but I have to put it in such a way that is not insensitive. Why should somebody have like a snake bite, for example, and this same person will have to like run from whatever it's happened to get a bolt to find himself or herself at 2 or 3 hospitals before somebody can attend to her? Why? Because sometimes this doesn't work better if, I just got bitten by a scorpion or I got stung by a bee. You make a call and then there should be an ambulance dispatched to you because they should already know what they need to do. Those first 5-10 minutes,
that's it,
are very crucial. So if you're going to survive or not. So by the time you get to the hospital, things are already bad. Your systems are already shutting down. Whatever you're doing there, you're just trying to see if there is hope. I mean, doctors are not gods. We're just scientists. We're just scientists. We already know the pattern. If you come between at the first 2 or 3 minutes, your survival rate is high. If you come the next 10-15 minutes, it's medium. If you come the next 30-40 minutes, I mean, it's absolutely, it's science. We're not, it's only God that can say, don't worry, even if you die, I'm going to raise you right now. But here, that person is going to call, is going to look for bolts, is going to go to the first hospital, we can't help you. Second hospital, we can't help you. By the time you get to the third hospital, you're tired.
So it's almost like there's an infrastructure problem with the lack of ambulance, right? Because you now have to set all these things up. The phone call has to work first, right?
Absolutely.
You now go back to that. You now have to have it close enough to you to be able to come to you when you need it. I think in the States, most urban cities, if with an emergency, you can get an ambulance or a fire truck within
absolutely
10-minute variation, most urban cities, right? So if you think through that, you now say in Nigeria, if something happens to me on my way home now, I'm at the mercy of who is around.
Passers-by.
Which is absolutely crazy. Then that also links back to your point that healthcare is not a planned activity. It can happen to anyone. It could be a minister, it could be a governor. Anyone can face these challenges. And if we don't properly fix the energy sector to provide better supply to hospitals and hospitals are able to start running profitable businesses, I think we're going to be back here again talking about the same thing in the years to come because government has not taken the focus to fix the healthcare industry through improved power supply.
And they can do it if they want to do it. So that is even what is that painful. They can do it if they want to do it. Or probably the citizens should hold them responsible and make sure they're
citizens hold them responsible? Is it rallies? Do we need to protest?
Awareness. They should get involved in governance too. They should get involved in governance. They should get involved in whatever bills are passed that has to do with healthcare. They should read about healthcare bills because most of the citizens don't know how the hospital work or how bad they can be until they themselves are patients in the hospital. And that's what they're like, are you telling me you don't have gloves? Are you telling me you don't have syringes? Are you telling me you don't have a doctor? Are you telling me just one doctor you have? Okay, so in Nigeria, it's only when something affects you, that is when you talk. But when you don't have anything affecting you, everything is fine. In other countries, people get to sense that there's going to be trouble ahead and they start talking about it. In Nigeria, there's a pothole. We are fine because nobody has actually entered there and got thrown out of the road. But it happens, then it becomes a viral thing. So healthcare system is just like that too. We need to start talking. Every hospital must be well equipped because anybody can slum at any time. Anybody can be injured at any time. And the safest place for you is going to be the nearest hospital because that's what it says. Go to your nearest hospital. And where's the nearest hospital? Then you get there and the only doctor that is there is in the theater seeing a patient. And how is it going to come down to check on you and time is going?
It sounds like there's a lot of work that still
It's
has
scary.
to be done.
It's very complex right now because it doesn't get better if you don't fix it. If you don't fix it on the spot. You know, the issues we're having is because we've allowed this whole thing. This whole thing, I mean, you said it the other time, it's been there since the 80s. So imagine, I mean, if we were born in 1985, you'll be like how now?
40.
Absolutely. So imagine having a problem for as long as 40 something years. How do you now want to start to fix it? So that's it.
And the hope for me as we wrap is in the next 2 years when we have you back, we'll not have a conversation that medical tourism has actually reversed and folks are staying in country to get help, to get treatment, and the government has actually fixed this part of the value chain, which is increased power supply for hospitals, and that will then increase patient staying, cash flow, and doctors staying back. Because the more we know it, there's a doctor now boarding a flight to go out of the country and they're not coming back.
Sure. That would be nice if we have such positive conversation, positive results, positive response in 2 years from now. I'll be very happy.
Are you optimistic?
For now, let's see how it goes.
Thank you so much, Doc, for your time. This has been very insightful.
Thank you.